Seika Academy was a famous school for talented students. It trained future stars in acting, sports, and advanced studies. Many of the most successful people in the world had graduated from there. One of them was Subaru Ayase, a legendary actress and top student. Now her son, Yu Ayase, had just transferred into the school, but Yu was not like his mother. While she had been admired by everyone, Yu was struggling to keep up. His mentor at the school treated him harshly, constantly yelling at him. It wasn't because of anything Yu did, it was just because of who he was. Everyone expected him to be like Subaru, while he wasn't. He failed many of his classes and was weak in martial arts. Even so, some students still believed that he might have hidden talent. After all, some geniuses take time to show their abilities. Subaru Ayase, Yu's mother, had been a perfect student. She was beautiful, smart, and brave, and she could do all her own performance stunts. She had graduated at the top of her class and was admired worldwide. Because of her reputation, people watched Yu closely and judged everything he did. One day, Yu's mentor told him that the top 3 students, called the 3 Royals, were curious about him. These 3 were the best in their fields. Wanting to prove himself, Yu gathered all his strength and threw a punch. But it was weak and barely touched his opponent. His mentor lost patience and slammed Yu to the ground. Everyone watching began to whisper that Yu, the son of Subaru Ayase, was a complete failure. Yu had heard this kind of talk many times since he turned 17. Lying on the floor, he looked up at his mentor and said something sharp about how average people often cared too much about talent. The mentor was briefly surprised. "You look just like Subaru," and even sounded like her for a moment. Still, the scolding continued. Yu said nothing more. He already knew how talented his mother was. He had seen it himself. Without replying, he walked away. Most people thought he had simply accepted defeat, but suddenly, the mentor was kicked from behind. It was Miko, the top martial artist in the school. Her 2 sisters, Kazuki and Miwa, stood beside her. Kazuki was a famous actress and Miwa was a sports genius. The 3 of them were the highest-ranked students in their programs. Yu looked up in surprise. The sisters were disappointed when they learned that he had failed his tests and had no special skills. They had hoped he would join their departments, but Yu had already moved into the general education course, a forgotten division of the school for students without any special talents. As he turned to leave, Nico reminded him of the rule that the loser had to clean the dojo, so he stayed behind to clean. The sisters walked away, tossing insults his way, but Yu didn't respond. He simply picked up a bucket and started working. The next day, the dojo was spotless. Students were shocked by how clean it was. No one knew Yu had cleaned everything by himself late into the night. As Yu walked home, he thought about his past. When he was a kid, he had wanted to be praised like his mother. He would act out movie scenes in front of the television. But every time he saw his mother perform, he realized he could never shine like her. He tried many different things, acting, sports, and studying, but never found something he was good at. Eventually, he gave up and grew distant from her, even though she was the only family he had. Later, his mother became sick and had to stay in the hospital. She often watched an old family drama series she had acted in. In it, she played a kind and simple mother. It wasn't one of her popular roles, but she liked it. So did Yu. One day, while sitting beside her bed, he told her that his favorite part of the show was the ending, where the whole family would gather around the table for dinner. That moment led to one of the only deep conversations they had in years. From that talk, you realized something important. His mother didn't care if he became famous. She only wanted him to have a happy family. That was her final wish. After she passed away, Yu packed his things and went to live at the home of Mr. Mikadano, a man who had been a friend and supporter of his mother. When Yu arrived, he stood in front of a large mansion with the Mikadano name at the gate. The house was huge, but he remembered that Mr. Mikadano had invited him, so he went inside. As soon as he entered, a foot hit him in the face. He fell to the floor. Miko, wearing only a towel, had mistaken him for a trespasser. She tried to kick him again but slipped. Yu, trying to help, threw a towel over her head to dry her off. She pulled away angrily. Just then, Kazuki and Miwa appeared. Miwa recognized Yu right away and demanded to know why he was there. Before he could answer, his phone rang. It was Mr. Mikadano, calling to check if Yu had arrived safely. His sisters stood in shock when Yu spoke casually to their father. Mr. Mikadano explained that he had promised Subaru to look after Yu. He wanted to support the boy and keep his mother's memory alive. What he forgot to mention was that Yu would be living with his daughters. Now Yu realized he was going to live in the same house as the 3 royals. The girls were not happy. Nico accepted it only because it was their father's decision. Kazuki couldn't believe their father had invited someone she considered a failure. Miwa refused to help take care of him at all. But Yu didn't give up. He introduced himself politely and said he would do his best to get along. While unpacking, he accidentally stepped on a woman's undergarment. Kazuki grabbed it from him, blushing. Then Yu noticed how messy the house was. The kitchen was full of dirty dishes. The sink had broken glass. The laundry was piled up. Kazuki had tried to wash the dishes but failed. Maiwa had forgotten how to do laundry and wrote instructions on her hands. Miko blamed Yu for exposing their mess, though she was in charge of cleaning. You didn't say anything. You just started cleaning again. In no time, the mansion looked clean and organized. That's when Neko realized Yu had also cleaned the dojo. Yu smiled and said he didn't mind cleaning. It was something he could actually do well. The next morning, he woke up early, hoping for a calm day since there was no school. But the house was already full of noise. Miko was training loudly in her dojo. Meiwa was playing a video game and arguing with someone online. Kazuki was in the kitchen mixing a strange green drink. Yu sat at the table, hoping they might eat together. But Kazuki rushed out. Miwa counted her snacks as her breakfast. When Yu warned her about it, she ignored him. While he made breakfast for himself, he thought about how his mother had acted the same way. She had always been busy, skipping meals and focusing only on her work. Now he understood the sisters more. Kazuki needed to stay in shape to act. Miwa kept her mind sharp with snacks. Neko had to follow strict routines for her training. Talented people often got so focused on themselves that they didn't notice others. Yu remembered how even his mother made him feel like he didn't belong in her world. Before the girls left the house, Yu stopped them and told them they had forgotten something. They checked their bags in a panic, but found nothing missing. Then he calmly reminded them that they forgot to wish each other a nice day. The sisters didn't know how to respond. They brushed off his words as strange, but later, each of them remembered what he had said. Back in the kitchen, Yu was washing dishes when Mr. Mikadano called again. He explained that he would be away most of the time because of work. Yu would be spending his days alone with the sisters. Mr. Mikadano asked Yu for a favor to be there for the girls when they faced problems. He believed that Yu, even without special talent, could help them open up. Yu looked around the now-clean house. He didn't know how he could help 3 gifted girls as someone so average. But he remembered his mother's wish. He had promised to try. He wasn't talented. He wasn't special. But he would do his best. He would try to build the happy family his mother had always dreamed of. That marks the end of today's Recap. If you enjoyed the video and want more of it, please support the channel by leaving a like and subscribe. Let's help us reach a current goal of 10K subscribers.